what is there's something on your website about the LA Gov ERP computer upgrade. What is that?
We have a computer system. It's called ISIS. It's a Buick, okay? It doesn't have a satellite radio, you know, it doesn't have a great stereo. It's a Buick, all right? 2 years ago, there was a proposal under Governor Blanco, Governor General has continued it, to upgrade that Buick to a Mercedes. Now's not the time. We don't need a Mercedes. It'd be nice to have a Mercedes computer system, but the Buick computer system is adequate. And we could save a lot of money by at least waiting on implementing. They've got over 50 people hired just at the Division of Administration just to implement this Mercedes computer system. And now is not the time, and I think we ought to put it on hold.
And I keep getting back to this, what is this new computer system supposed to do that the old one can't?
Well, it's a very good question too. Before they did it, normally what you do is a cost-benefit analysis. How much is the new system going to cost me, and how much am I going to save? They didn't do that. They just started building the new system. I raised that issue. And after the fact, they went and got a consultant to do a cost-benefit analysis to say they're going to save money. You know, the point is, we can't afford a Mercedes system right now, and we don't need it when the Buick system is working just fine.
I'm going to say there's another consultant you can just add right on there.
Well, you know, you can save money in technology,
Absolutely.
But there's a time and a place for everything, and I have doubts anyway whether this Mercedes system is going to work as well as the Buick.
And then there's, well, you also have to train everyone to use it, and that's going to take time.
It's going to take an enormous amount of time. I mean, one day they're going to turn to everybody in state government, every worker, and say, we've now got a new system. We've got to train you, learn how to use it. Well, just the cost of that alone is going to be extraordinary. Now, I'm not against technology, and we do need to advance, but there's, you know, you've got to be smart about it.
We're a high-tech company. We have new programs every day to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, again, I do some of my work on a program I've had for 10 years because it's fast, I can get it done, and the clients are happy with it. So.
And what we have now is adequate, okay? It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, I'll admit, but it works just fine.
And I think also if you're going to wait another year, everyone's going to have a bigger and better iPhone.
Yeah,
They'll probably have an LA Gov app you can just add to your iPhone and it'll do everything right there and carry around with you. So wait for that. What do you think right now is the most critical thing that Louisiana can do to help itself?
Set priorities. I mean, I'm talking about Louisiana state government.
That's absolutely right.
Set priorities so we can spend money properly, so we can take less money out of people's pocket, so we can become a lower tax state, so we can create the jobs we need to keep our kids home. We rank number 5 in America in the percentage of all taxes that are paid by business. In other words, if you add up all the taxes in Louisiana and then figure the percentage of those paid by businesses, we rank number 5. And we wonder why we can't create jobs. We're losing...
I want that clarified for me just a second.
Sure.
What does that mean again?
If you add up all the taxes that are collected in Louisiana,
yes,
and then you ask yourself, of those taxes that are paid, what percentage are paid by business?
yeah.
Our percentage is very high.
Most of the taxes in Louisiana are paid by business.
We rank number 5
I was
in the
thinking
country.
there was some kind of a ranking among how much tax is being paid, but it's just
No,
relative.
it's not about whether we're high tax or low
Gotcha.
tax. You can debate that.
Right.
But we are heavily, however much
industry
we
and
pay.
business
Industry
is
pays a
paying
lot.
for the state.
And, you know, there's a reason that California is shrinking and Texas is growing. And it's not the weather. I mean, Texas is a relatively low-tax state. California is a relatively high-tax state. Even more people would be leaving California if they could sell their home. And if you look at, there was a study done recently, if you look at the 8 or 10 states that in the census are going to gain congressional seats because they've got more people. And then if you look at the 8 or 10 states that are going to lose a congressional seat, 1 or more because they've lost people, and Louisiana's in that number, the average personal income tax rate in the loser states is about 6%. The average personal income tax rate In the gainer states is about 3%. People vote with their feet.
What's our percentage here?
It's graduated. It goes up to 6%. But we pay so much. We tax business so heavily. And I know when a business is deciding whether to expand or locate, there are many factors they look at. You know, workforce, quality of life, education, environment. But the first thing they're going to look at is your tax system. And ultimately, if we could get control of the cost of government, so we could tax business and people less, I think it would help create the jobs that we need, so that we don't see a lot of our smart kids just twice a year at at Thanksgiving and Christmas when they come home to visit from Dallas and Atlanta and Denver.
What's your take on trying to, and this is a loaded question, but trying to encourage young talent to stay in Louisiana? There was I believe it's an article in the Business Report. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but they were talking about, you know, we need young talent in Louisiana.
Yep, saw the article. Well, we do. We you know, we do need them, and we're losing many of them. We've done something that's helped. Now that some want to change it, but I'm talking to about the top scholarship program. A lot of these kids who receive top scholarships have choices. Most of them do. They don't have to go to LSU or Louisiana Tech or Southeastern or Baton Rouge Community College. They can go to University of Georgia or University of Texas, and they're recruited. But many of them have chosen to stay here because they've gotten a top scholarship. It's a good deal financially for them and their parents. Now, some want to change it. Some want to make it a merit scholarship. I say leave it alone. It's working. It costs us about $130 million a year out of a $27 billion budget. I wish it cost us $260 million a year, double or triple, because that means more and more kids are using it. And it's done a lot to keep those kids home. But if you really want to keep your kids home, you got to give them a reason to stay in Louisiana. You got to tell them there's opportunity here. You can get a job, not just any job, but a good job. But you can't do that as well. You've got one arm tied behind your back when you're telling your business women and businessmen, grow your company, create jobs. But by the way, we're going to tax the living daylights out of you while we're asking you to do that.
Film tax credits. Comments, thoughts about the film industry?
You know, we're still studying it. The numbers are the numbers. I've seen studies saying that it's a plus for the state. I tend to think that it is, but I also saw a recent study saying it's costing us more in credits than we're getting in business generated by the films. The truth is, I don't think we know yet. You can't look at 1 or 2 years. You've got to look at a longer period of time, 5 or 10 or 15 years. I think the credits have generated a lot of money for the state in terms of films being made here. I think it's caused people to have new opportunities and working in films, and I think that's all a good thing. But I don't think we really know about the numbers and won't until we have a long period of time to study.
I am, of course, in the film industry, disclaimer, so you know that I strongly believe in it, but I see it as a way to, you know, increase the attraction of this state for younger, and particularly younger creative people.
You know, one of the reasons I believe it, a very good indication it's worked, because so many other states have tried to copy it. You know,
That's exactly right.
And I knew we were onto something when we started it, and we started getting films made here, and our people getting jobs and learning new trade, and other states starting to do it. Okay, now that to me was the best compliment we could get in terms of doing something right.
I think that if you're going to attract young people, and I think of myself as a young person, even though I'm way over the hill, I'm getting over the hill farther. To attract young people, though, there needs to be some kind of mentorship going on. I mean, you can't have young people exist in a vacuum, and making the state attractive to older professionals and talented people gives if you want to think of it as a nest for a young person to come up in. They will be attracted also to that legacy.
I think you make a very good point. And you know, we're doing better, but we're not. We could do better still, I think, if we could lower the taxes that we make business pay in Louisiana. I mean, I'd like to lower taxes for everybody.
Yeah.
But you start with looking at why aren't we creating more jobs, and then you realize we're number 5 in America and the percentage of all taxes paid by business, and you go, duh, you know, I mean.
Exactly. The in case in point, I've been talking with a film company that's located in Texas, and they want to move here. At least one of the partners does. The other partner's not so sure because they don't pay tax where they are.
Yeah.
So even though we've got real juicy film tax credits, is that going to offset the loss of income?
But that no income tax in Texas, and I know they have, you know, higher property taxes, but not having to pay a personal income tax in Texas is a huge calling card. It's drawn so many people to Texas. Same thing in Florida. It is just there have been a lot of Louisiana business people that I know, and you do too, Ted, that have moved to Texas and established domicile because they don't have to pay personal income tax there. And, you know, we're headed in that direction. We're reducing our personal income tax, but we're not completely where we need to be yet.